Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Difference between picking up on it and whether or not your thought caused it. Something a lot of us were going to ask questions about, especially in our vast manifesting experiences. This type of stuff is invariably going to happen from time to time, maybe sometimes more often than others. And how it usually plays out is you will have a thought about something happening, and then it will almost immediately happen. I tend to find, and we'll get into this because there's, I think, a myriad of things that go into how these situations come upon us. But right off the bat, the fact that you thought the thought and then the thing immediately happened, it's pretty unlikely that that thought right then and there is what actually created it. Because again, most of the time, our manifesting is not instant. And the reason it's not instant, for the most part, is because most of us have a hard time keeping our thoughts in check. We could be thinking great things, great things, great things. Suddenly a friend says something silly to us and we're like, I wish you were dead, right? Like we say crazy things to people. Not necessarily that. I mean, that's pretty extreme and certainly not okay. But we say things that are kind of crazy. And it is something that if we actually caused that to happen, right? If we had that power to go ahead and wish horrible things onto another and then they would experience those horrible things, one, that's just not cool to cause horrible things to another. Two, there's karma that comes back on you. If you go and inflict damage on another, you've got karma on you. There's no way around it. It's either this lifetime it's going to get evened out or another lifetime. From what I understand, karma is kind of happening very quickly nowadays because of a lot of the changes. So most likely it's going to bite you back on the old behind a lot quicker than you realize. So usually we're picking up on what's actually going to happen. It's kind of a psychic moment, frankly. And it's really one of the first ones that a lot of us are going to kind of experience to really get those, to get us paying attention to the way we seem to interact with the world around us, the way things seem to show themselves to us. I mean, to me, it's fascinating. One, what we focus on, what we believe, puts like filters into our viewing. So all these things are happening all around us all the time. We've got every color under the sun, every type of person under the sun, every situation, good, bad, and everything under the sun. The second we decide something's a certain way, we start to see more of that. It's like we shift our focus to only look at that polarity, that polarization, that wavelength of frequency. And that's all we can see. We don't see the other things that are happening around us. Could be standing there with a different person with a totally different outlook on life, and they might be staring at the same thing you are and see a very, very different thing. So it is kind of interesting how these things happen. So again, one of the first real type psychic experiences that a lot of us will have in life is these moments where we have a feeling something's going to happen, and it does. Or, another good one, we have a feeling that our friend is going to text us, or they pop into our head and then all of a sudden you get a text message from them. Did your thought cause the text message, or were you picking up on the fact that your friend was doing a thought transmission? And really, thought transmissions and the thing that's happening right at this moment, we're very in tune to. We're going to feel. If you're sensitive, and I've said this before, well, do they feel it when I think of them? Maybe. Depends how sensitive they are. Depends how busy they are at the moment. If they're, scuba diving and they're fighting a shark at the second you're doing a thought transmission, yeah, I'm reasonably sure they're not going to pick up on your thought transmission. They're busy fighting a shark. That's probably their focus right now is, he's got big teeth, right? So, yeah, no, in that case, they're probably not picking up on your thought transmission. But if the dude's just sitting there, willy-nilly, watching TV, maybe watching a sports game or something like that, and then all of a sudden you're going to pop into their head while he's watching basketball and be like, sweetie, so-and-so, what's she up to? Anyway, back to basketball. It happens, and they'll pick up on you. So, when we have that thought and it's really close to where the experience is happening, I would shift it towards, I would think a little more towards I'm picking up on what's going on around me. It's an indication of your sensitivity. It's good. It's a good thing. It's one way to gauge how connected you are to your reality, to the people around you, and to what you're creating. Now, things don't just happen without any sort of connection to something. I don't think things happen accidentally. I do believe there is purpose and reason behind what we experience. What we see with our own eyes, what we experience in our own reality is for us. We created it some way or another. We either need it or created it. Either way, right? We need it. This situation either is needed or was created by us and is happening because of us. Now, I know a lot of people want to say, oh, you got all these people in the world that have bad things happening to them. Are you telling me they're thinking bad thoughts and that's why? No, it's a little larger than that. But using other people experiencing things that, one, you can't relate to. You don't know what it's like for that person that's starving in some small country in Haiti, unless, of course, you're watching this YouTube video in Haiti, and then you can tell me directly, yay, no, Dan, it sucks pretty bad. But for those of us that maybe are living in Europe or living in the United States, and we look to Haiti and be like, oh, all those poor people, are you trying to tell me that they're experiencing their world because of their negative thoughts? No, but on a larger scope, on a larger picture, in a world, especially the Western world, that is extremely wealthy, it is really interesting to notice that there are countries in our world that are beyond dirt poor. So, one, it's a creation of our collective, for sure, and we could probably fix it pretty easily, but we don't, for a lot of reasons. It's complex, and I'm not trying to solve world problems here, but I am trying to make a point. Now, one of the other things that's awesome, just while we're on the subject of Haiti, my mom used to go there for religious stuff on a regular basis, so it was pretty cool. But the pictures that I would see, these people are dirt poor. They're in one of the poorest places in the world with very little positive external stuff that so many of us take for granted here. And they're smiling and they're happy. So from that standpoint, too, that also teaches us something. So many of us require some external circumstance or some external stimuli to feel like we're happy about things. And these people don't. Like, they're just kicking rocks around and they're finding fun. That's soccer to them all of a sudden, right? Or football or whatever. So these things are created by the thoughts we have. We don't just end up in situations without some sort of causation, some sort of connection. So again, if you're having something occur to you and you didn't have that immediate like, oh, this is going to happen. Oh my God, it just happened. If that's the case, then yeah, you created it just outright. Like this was something you've been manifesting either subconsciously or consciously, but this manifestation is occurring because of that. If something happens and you pick up on it, and it's even something you've been thinking about, it's a gauge of your sensitivity. If it's something you've been thinking about, and then you just thought about it again, and then it happened, well, you've manifested this, and then you picked up on it right before it happened. If you have never thought about this whatsoever, but then all of a sudden you have this thought that, oh no, that plant's going to fall over, and then plant falls over. Yeah, you picked up on it. Now, the question, why did the plant fall over? Why were you there to experience it and witness that? What are the odds? Reminds me of something very strange that happened to me one day, and I ended up looking up on it, and the timing of it was oddly coincidental, but this was a super strange moment, and I've had lots of weird things happen in my life. This was definitely one of them. Not the weirdest, but up there. So I'm like out, I think it was back when I smoked, so I was having a cigarette break or something silly like that, and I was at work, and I hear this weird noise over in one of the trees in the parking lot, and literally out of the tree falls a crow. A crow, dead, broke its neck or something. I don't know what the hell happened. It fell out of a friggin' tree. Crows don't do that. Crows can usually handle being in trees. They're pretty. I mean, you see them dead in the road occasionally because they weren't smart enough to get out of the way of a car, but it fell out of a tree. So the thing fell out of a tree and died, dead. I mean, I was like looking at it. I'm like, yeah, he's totally dead. Like, this guy's in bad shape. Dead skis, gone. And I was tripping. I'm like, well, this could have happened 5 minutes later. I wouldn't have seen it. Could have happened 5 minutes earlier. Would have saw the dead bird, but I wouldn't have seen it. But for some reason, I was out here at the exact moment that crow decided to commit suicide in that tree. I'm assuming he did. He seemed like a sad crow. He had that look on his face. You know, crows, sometimes they don't smile. That's all. I just saying he wasn't a smiling crow when he was dead. So probably depressed, and that's why he fell out of the tree. Everyone knows. That's the way it happened. But again, it's one of those things. I didn't cause that, but I was there to experience it. So there's something to be said about that, too. So a lot of us get kind of stuck on the, did I cause this? Did I not cause this? But it doesn't really matter. I mean, it does, and you should be able to hopefully gauge, hopefully from what we've talked about in this video, you should be able to gauge where you're at in that spectrum. Did you cause it? Did you not cause it? Were you just there to be a witness? But no matter what had happened, you experienced it, and you're a part of this for a reason. You manifested this situation for a reason. So still, you want to look into what is it that caused me to experience this. Now, the last thing I'm going to touch on, a lot of people are very, very fond of the whole us pushed out thing. And that's also true in this case. It's a picture, it's an issue of you picking up on an aspect of yourself pushed out. I don't like us pushed out in a sense, because to me it's a very easy thing that a lot of people throw out there. It's just everything's just you pushed out. Everything's you pushed out. Yeah, but I had a bad day at work. Everything's just you pushed out. Doesn't really help you sometimes. I get it. And I get how, and I've done countless shows, so please do a search on for my videos, Us Pushed Out. I've done a bunch of shows on them. Not countless. I could truly count them. Maybe on two hands at best. But I've done a bunch of shows. Us pushed out is something we definitely experience. It's part of our filters. It's part of what we're experiencing back. It's part of how we receive and understand others. I mean, there's a whole slew of stuff with us pushed out that I'm totally into. But this whole everything's us pushed out, it's just too simple. And it's something that, it confuses a lot of people. I get a lot of questions around, I know it's just us pushed out, but I don't understand how. I get it. Because it doesn't make a lot of sense in some cases. So I'm not one of the people out there that's just saying everything is you pushed out. I don't even think Neville Goddard quite said, I mean, he does. He says all us pushed out. But it's in the context of what he's saying. Because he doesn't just believe everybody willy-nilly is you pushed out either. Really has to do with interactions, how we're experiencing those. Again, find the places where Goddard says that and read the entire context of it. And now all of a sudden, that quote is a little different and there's some backing behind it. So again, things happen to us because we attract them to us. Is it us pushed out? Sure, could be. Might be. In a lot of cases it is. Some cases, Some cases, maybe we're there to help another. Some cases we're maybe there to learn a lesson, right? And that could sort of still be technically us pushed out. There's something for me to learn in that. So I've pushed out an aspect of myself that needs this experience so I can learn this lesson that's in front of me. So it falls into all those categories. Most importantly, just to reiterate, the fact that you're picking up on it is awesome. It's speaking to your sensitivity. It's speaking to how far you've come, how much you've awakened yourself internally, how connected you are to what's going on around you. Kudos, congrats, well done. Did I just create it thinking stuff? No, don't worry about it. Even if it's a bad thing, don't worry about it. The fact that you picked up on it is the victory. Even if it was just a crappy moment and you picked up on it, be proud of yourself for picking up on the crappy moment. If it happened instantly, it's not something you were just thinking that created it. Maybe it was something you were thinking a week ago. Maybe it had nothing to do with you. Maybe there's a lesson here. Maybe there's an us pushed out moment. Something that you need to understand a little better. And so we're having this experience, this contrast, this whatever. Take it for what it is. See the victory in it. If it's a contrast moment, see it as contrast. Be like, that's great. That's definitely not what I would like to experience. I'd like to have more of this. I want to be with so-and-so. I don't need this third-party person that seems to keep popping up in my Facebook or whoever. Whatever your particular situation is. And I know that happens frequently too. You'll get a wild hair up your you-know-what about you're thinking about someone and your specific person, and then all of a sudden you log into their Instagram and bam, there's a picture they just posted of some other person. That's an us pushed out for sure. That's someone that's also created this for sure. There's probably a level of insecurity. You're probably not sure about this person. You're probably doubting. There's a lot of things probably at work, and then all of a sudden you get a wild hair, and bam, your timing's perfect, and look what you just manifested. You manifested a third party, or at least a picture of someone, and now all of a sudden you're filling in all the blanks and assuming this to be a third party. Step back from it. Realize that it's contrast. Realize that, wow, I've created this for some reason or somehow. See it for what it is. Focus on what you would like to experience. So if this was a bad thing, that's okay. Let it go. Something bad happened. All right, whatever. This is what I'd like to do. Or here's where I'm still going to go. Or, oh my God, I need to buy cereal at the grocery store. Like, whatever. Get back to regular life and head back to the path that you've been on. So yes, sometimes you're picking up on stuff. Sometimes your little psychic spidey senses are tingling for a reason. Sometimes you're not. Sometimes you created it. Either way, it's been created in our life for a purpose, either by us, for us, to us, whatever. Hopefully this kind of helps you take some of those moments, and figure out, the positive, right? Oh my God, I'm getting more sensitive. That's great. I'm picking up on these things. 2, you're starting to notice how connected you are with all the things happening around you. That's awesome. Kudos. Good job. Well done. You're waking. That's great. And 3, you're starting to really pay attention to what happens and your thoughts either A, right before, or your thoughts maybe a few days ago. And we're starting to notice the similarities, the causations, the parallels. We're starting to see, oh yeah, I was thinking about that. Just the other day, I was talking to my friend about how this third-party person really upsets me, and then I kind of just let it go, and then a day later, I'm opening up Instagram, and there's the third party. Yes, you created that moment. Even if you had a wild hair up your you-know-what, at that moment, you're like, oh my God, I bet you he's cheating on me right now, and then you open up Instagram, and there's the picture. First off, he's not cheating on you necessarily right now. Maybe he is. I'm just joking here. For those of you that are really questioning, I'm sorry, I was just joking. But you get into that Instagram, you're like, oh my God, this is happening. It's like, we fill in the blanks frequently. I've done shows on that too, and I'm not trying to, I'm all over the place on this, but really it comes down to relating causation to the moments that happen to us. And certainly when we have those little psychic moments, if you will, I think it's good to give ourselves credit, to notice, and to not get too hung up on the fact, you just created this. No. Relax. Yeah, it was created by you somehow. Either thoughts you were having, thoughts you had just right now, not likely, but maybe, or something here that you need to experience, learn from, grow from, whatever. Take these moments as they come, enjoy them as they come. Try to, even if they're bad. Try to find the positives, trying to find the silver lining. Trying to, as I frequently like to call it, sprinkling powdered sugar on a turd. Sometimes that is the best way forward. You just let it in your mind go, yes, that's a turd. Put some powdered sugar on it. All right, it's better now. All right, anyway, here's what I'd like to experience. And start thinking about that again. Focus-based universe. Keep yourself focused on where you'd like to go, even when weird things pop up. See the beauty and joy of these things that pop up, even when they're negative. Try to find the causation so you can really make that connection and learn. And try not to do things again that are maybe causing some of these patterns to show up in our life. And appreciate your sensitivity as you've grown and developed yourself. A lot of good things to look at when these moments happen, even though sometimes they're shrouded in a negative moment. That negative moment brought your awareness to something that maybe wouldn't have come any other way. And now your awareness is there. That's the victory. So I'm saying if a bad thing happens and it causes you to change your life, and then now all of a sudden you're on a better path, then was that a bad thing or was it really a good thing? That's one of the challenging things that a lot of us need to figure out. Stay on Radio Style.